Do you ever have the idea for a quick project that turns into much more than you anticipated? As I mentioned in the last video, my plan was to install some shelves above the garage door for some added storage. As I'm thinking through the process, throw up some shelf brackets, throw on the plywood, should be done, I realized I wouldn't have access to the stud cavities behind the shelves to insulate at a later point. So I might as well do that now too. And this is what I came up with. Follow along and I'll show you how I did it. It's the next day. It's been multiple days since I started this project, but it's the next day from when I installed the shelf brackets, which are now fully installed. Two sets, almost 8 foot each, going across a double garage door. Insulation is all installed except for, I'm not sure if you can see, probably not. There's a floor to ceiling cavity on either side. I'll worry about that later. There's also one cavity right next to this vertical beam here. I do have live wires in there for an outdoor light. I'm going to be replacing that light soon, and I'm going back and forth about installing an outlet on this side of that light or in that wire. So I don't want to cover the wire if I'm going to need it later. Probably just stuff some rigid in there at some point in the future. Not a big priority for me. So I do have one sheet of plywood that I had ripped at Home Depot into 24 by 96. They won't quite fit, so I will need to trim them down. But They should fit nicely on the brackets. The brackets, I believe, are 22 inches, so a little bit of an overhang, which I'm fine with. It gives me probably a little something to maybe attach lights on in the future, maybe spring clamps. Probably be too hard to reach for that, but we'll figure out something. Plus, it's just a little bit deeper, a little bit more access. You'll notice in the previous clip, I spaced the shelf brackets to be 2 inches below the top of I think it's called a ledger board, the horizontal board. 2 inches from the top of that is where the shelf starts. I did that because I'm using 3/4 nominal, I think it's 19/32 or something, plywood. That way when that is butted up against that ledger board, if I put a storage bin or whatever, I can push it all the way back and that should act as a stop. Not pushing things into the insulation I just installed. In the last video, I referenced some cheap, disgusting plywood that I had that I was storing. I want to get rid of it. I want to use it. Plan on this exterior wall on this side, which you can't see right now, but is to tear what limited drywall there is down, insulate the wall, and then clad it in ply. So going with that theme, I have a 12-inch and an 18-inch of that nasty stuff from the old video. I'm going to use that almost as a drywall to cover up the insulation, probably starting from near the ceiling line, coming down. They're not big enough. The cavities are about 30 inches. Like I said, this is 12 and 18. Don't have enough to, 12 and 18 is 30. I could use both of them to fill one. However, from this vantage point on the ground, and with the shelf, and with stuff on the shelf eventually, you're not going to be able to see most of it. So I'm thinking about just installing those two pieces as a wall, covering the insulation, starting at the ceiling. So let's get at it. All right, one down. I put some things up there just to weigh it down. That plywood is very potato chipped, so getting that, I got my electrical box up there and some folding beach chairs just to get enough weight on there to add enough resistance that I could get the screws up from underneath. I know that the camera cut out, so I'm not sure exactly where, but one of the screws I put in, the plywood is so potato chipped that I put the screw in with the clamp, clamped the plywood to the bracket, put the screw in, took the clamp out, and that screw came shooting out as the plywood potato chip bent. So once done, I'm going to do this side next. I do need to measure because remember I want to leave this one cavity right here open. So I need to measure from that cavity all the way to the other beam, put the one piece up, cut the shelf to go around the vertical beams here. I don't know what they're called. And then go from there. So probably speed through if I show this at all. And there you have it. 4 brackets per shelf. Each shelf is just under 90 inches, about 87 inches wide, 24 inches deep. The shelf brackets themselves are 22 inches deep, so there's a little bit of an overhang. Each shelf is secured to the bracket with a minimum of 2 screws, sometimes up to 4, depending on my angle of attack when I was trying to get them in there. I just couldn't reach from my ladder position, and I didn't want to fight with moving the ladder. You can see the horizontal pieces of ply that I spoke about that I was just trying to get rid of. I absolutely hate them. However, once the shelves get loaded up, I'll never see them again. You'll probably never see them again. I have debated taking them down, turning them into some kind of art to put up there. Just doesn't matter that much to me right now. I'm trying to actually turn the shop into something more functional for myself, and that's just not a high priority right now to make something I'll never see pretty. So that's it. Feel free to like, subscribe. It helps me out a lot. I could really use some new subscribers, get my numbers up. You know, this is a brand new channel, but I hope to be having some interesting content in the upcoming future, both working with easel, working with my CNC, doing flat work on any of the tools I have. It's only May, but we're starting to get ready and get prepared for Christmas craft show season. So a few projects will probably be coming out of that. Yeah, like, subscribe, leave me a comment. Let me know what you like, don't like, ideas for how I can improve and gain your memberships or subscriptions. So yeah, take care. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.